Good morning, everybody, and this is your Dow Jones day trade setup for today. So big up, big down, big confusion. We did get up to test the level that we were looking at yesterday, and that was the swing low here, and we rejected it spot on. So that is at 31,907. So there was a fairly decent opportunity there. Grouping of the oscillators on the 8-hour, nice closest bit of structure that we could find, and that basically was happened. I think it's important to realize that we have broken above this previous high, so the fractional was a previous high. We've come back to support that break now, so we're testing that break. So the big question here is if this holds, I would expect another leg up. If this gives way and we sort of drop below it and come back and reject it, then I would expect a leg down. So 3100 or 31, it's kind of where the level itself is at 31,017. So I'll just say 3100 area is the line in the sand for the Dow at the moment. If we find support here, I would expect another attempt to break higher at above 31,907. And ultimately, what I would be looking for is something in that area there to 32,550. That's kind of the structure that we can see brewing at the moment. Start dropping below this, then I expect us to start testing these levels to the downside, and the closest one that I would sort of expect to be tested would be this one here, around 3175. Lastly, before we drop down to levels that we can trade through the day, I want that trend line on my charts because it has been adhered to over basically started 2 weeks ago and held it last week, so I would expect that to be an area to pay attention to. And there's one more level based on that we need to add, and this is going to be an interesting, going to be a messy chart, so just going to have to add both of these in. I'll tell you now why. So you can see this tail here, so there's buyers that have definitely come in there. Look at all these tails here that are sort of bouncing off something. So I could just extend that a little bit, probably to the bottom end of this tail. And now you can see all these rejections here that we had last week. So that is a zone. It also lines up with the trend line. So we'll look at those now in the lower time frames. Moving across the 3-hour, anything changed? Nothing much. The only thing that does change is we've got diversions brewing, and that's continuation diversions. In other words, be wary of selling into this because we're coming up to an area of support, so potentially a bounce off here. So that is the one scenario. We don't have any structure. Well, we do have a bit of structure up here that we are testing. I would prefer to see this zone tagged. We do have a crossover of the moving averages. We are below the 155, so obviously we want to get back above there. But I think this is my zone that I want to pay attention to. So everything sort of lined up. The only concern we've got here is Thursday, massive move up. Friday, a bit of a sideways motion. Then we sort of broke what was looking like a flag or a flat bottom triangle. We broke the flag, hit the level, the first level, bounced back. You would have expected support somewhere up here. That failed, and then we dropped lower. So at the moment, oscillators grouping to the downside, indicating be careful. We're just hovering around the 155. There is a bit of hour structure here at the moment. I'm still of the opinion this is what we need to pay attention to. So price gets back down to 38.27 or alternatively 36.42, then we are looking for price action to indicate that the buyers are coming in there for a move to the upside. So that's kind of what I'm looking at the moment. If we get back up into this zone 31.382 and start rejecting this area, I'd be looking for shorts up here. That's kind of the scenario that I have at the moment. Now, if we just drop down to 15 minutes, let's just have a look at yesterday's. I suppose the only real thing was the high of the day, which was there. We broke. There's a bit of structure, pin bar on that level, inside bar on that level. So either one of those would have worked out, and there was your target area. So that definitely would have worked out quite nicely. So at the moment, delete that level. We're looking kind of at a similar kind of structure. So you can see it's ranging. If we do drop the range, break the range to downside, I'd strongly suspect we're going to get to 38.27. If we don't, and we bounce the upside, then this is the area that I'd be looking very cautiously at. If we reject 31,382, then I would expect a bigger move down. If this does drop to 38.27, 36.40, this zone down here, then I'm looking at price action to indicate an opportunity to buy off the structure, and I'm looking for a move up. I am expecting a pretty volatile range to form somewhere along the line, but we do have an uptrend. It's a messy uptrend. It is all over the place from a moving average perspective. We're not respecting any moving averages right now, but every time we pull back in this trend like this, you can see the previous time we did that over here, we bounce. And we started back here, we bounce. So for me, this is still a series of higher highs and higher lows, and that is an uptrend. It is extremely messy, but yeah, we can ultimately still pull back right onto the trend line here and still be in a higher trend. Here's the previous swing low here. So, and that's also a double bottom. If you look at that, there was the neckline there, hasn't been retested. So any kind of price action, just maybe put another level in there. So there we go. So you've got 3 levels inside here which are going to offer support of some sort. So that's, and we'll call it 4 because we've got a trend line as well. So that's the area I'm paying attention to for a potential leg to the upside. What I'm looking for is inside bars, pin bars, engulfing bars on the level, nice structure, clear as daylight structure, small position on the break of that structure, tight stop loss below the bottom of that structure, and then I'm looking for a new high. If it fails, it fails, but it should fail up here. It should fail at 31,382. If it fails up there, then you have a potential lower high forming, and that could be a bigger reversal, and then that's going to turn all this move that we've had here. I'm just going to put one last line on the chart just to make it really messy for you, and that will turn out to be a flag. Okay, so this zone that I've given you with these 3 levels, that's critical today. If we break below it, I'd want to see a retest of that before jumping in short. Otherwise, I'm looking for a rejection of 31,382 for a short. So that's kind of the view that I've got at the moment. If we start breaking above 31,900, then I see 32,545 as the next rejection area. If that fails and we get support up there, then we can start changing our bias from a bearish bias to a semi-bullish bias and just wait for confirmation for a potential bullish reversal. Anyway, that is kind of my view today. Be cautious. Your 15-minute chart is the one to be paying attention to, and be in and out very quickly. Don't try and hold on to this expecting big moves. I think it's going to be volatile, and it is more than likely going to settle into a range somewhere along the line. Hope that helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.